I'm going to buy him a razor, but he doesn't know that. Okay, let's get to it. We have run a positive campaign since day one. I said to myself and to anyone around me, the only way we're going to win this election is to get our message out there. And I'm calling it the Penta plan. And the reason why I'm calling it the Penta plan, there are 18 components, and you'll probably just get it within the next 2 days. If you live in the city of Medford, you'll be getting a flyer that basically has the first 10 initiatives that I have out there. The last time we met here in June, I listed a whole bunch of 18. But even though we have 18 and we're down to 10, we have a whole bunch more coming. So sometimes if you put too much on there, people won't read it. So what we're doing is culling it down and give it to you in spurts and increments. And hopefully you may read one, if not two, if not three, and maybe you read them all. But you'll have a chance to share that with your neighbors and your friends. The difference in this campaign and that of my competition is we have a plan. They don't have a plan. What they've engaged in is a smear attack in many, many ways that is just not fair. I am not going to stoop to that level. I am not going to recognize it. I'm not going to be a part of it. Because no one's going to detour me from going to that corner office and doing the people's business with the plan that they will understand and recognize as being for the city of Medford. You know, we're like a car, this city. We've been stuck in neutral for a long period of time. We haven't been able to move. This election gives us an opportunity to put the car in drive in an overdrive and give us an opportunity to really move forward, really give ourselves a new vision, a new opportunity, and more importantly, a reason to be proud of our city. Not to turn around and say, why is Memphis Square not developable? Why are the streets in the condition that they're in? Why do we pay these large amounts for water and sewer bills when we're sitting on a $7.5 million surplus? And we can go on and on and on with all of these things. So what I've done is I put this all into a package, which again is called the Penta plan. And from walking the streets till now, for the last 3.5 months, these seem to be the largest community and citizen concerns. So this is what I'm running on. The first one is the parking kiosk. That seems to be the #1 issue that I have heard in this community. Why is it the #1 issue? I believe it's consumer and business unfriendly. Just because you can now drive down into a downtown area and see a lot of parking spaces, go and ask the business merchants, because those spaces are blank, does that mean people are coming in and doing business with them? And they'll tell you no. You go to certain parts of the community, they have no opinion because it's a parking lot either near them or adjacent to them. But more importantly, the idea is when you have parking enforcement, not revenue enhancement and parking enforcement, that's the only way you're going to find out if this is really working in this community. The fact that we have to give up 65% of the revenues that the city gains and give it to an outside company from Tennessee, that's not parking enforcement. That's a bunch of people coming into town and taking our money for which we, the city of Medford, should be gaining through our own efforts, through our own initiative, and through our own employees. Let's start small rather than big. That's the only way we're going to find out what's going on. Now, when we talk about business development in our city, the business development aspect really hasn't kicked in for a long period of time. We have at the present time an Office of Community Development. In that office is approximately 2 people. 2 people. You go to Somerville, they have 13, 14. You go to Arlington and Lexington, they have multitudes of people. And you can look and see the development that they have. When you only have 2 people to work with, and the present administration only tells you what to do, that stifles development, that stifles progress, that stifles the ingenuity. So what I want to do is I'm going to recreate that office into the Office of Business and Cultural Affairs and put in a professional grant writer. A grant writer that gets paid good money to bring in good money, because the only way development takes place is you have to spend money to make money, and we haven't done that for a long period of time. Third thing that's on the agenda is the police station, public safety in our community. And the police station, as we all know, is 50 years old, and it's infested with everything under the sun. Whether you want to call it mold, whether you want to call it termites, whether you want to call it a building that doesn't have the ability to adapt to today's modern day and age, so be it. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at where the police station is, and we're going to look at all the business community that surrounds it, including the fire department. And I will assure you, within a 3-year period of time, we will come up not only with a plan, but a financial plan. The huge difference between my competition and I, they're saying 7 years, and I'm telling you 3, because again, it's not going to take 3 terms of a 2-year term of administration to do it. You'll know this by the end of the 2nd term with me, or the beginning of the 2nd term, because Public safety is too important of an issue just to dingle around and dance around the subject matter. Either you do it or you don't do it. And once we present it and show it to the people of this community, not only they're going to like it, but the police department's going to be looked at they're going to be looked at with more respect. The attitude coming from them is not going to be laissez-faire. It's going to be well-rounded, and they're going to have a new vision as to how police enforcement and how the report is going to take place in this community. That's going to be a priority of mine. Not only that, it's also inclusive of City Hall. You will have a respectful answer when somebody calls you at City Hall. And if you don't, those jobs will be on the line. That's what they should be afraid of. Making sure people do their job. The next one's a combination of schools, the maintenance of the schools, and the Medford Public Library. For the past 6 years, Medford Public Library has gone on what they call a waiver from the state. How do you get a waiver from the state? If you have a financial problem within your community and you can't fulfill it or satisfy it within your budget. The city of Medford sits on hundreds and thousands, if not $6.5 million of free cash and other avenues of money. We've gotten away with it for 6 years. And for 6 years, unfortunately, the Medford Public Library is not in the position it should be in. It should be a nice, colorful, artful, clean, enticing place to go. Go in there now, it still looks like it's 1950s, you know, and it just doesn't make sense. The bathrooms haven't been touched in years and they need to be replaced. It would be nice to put a nice cafe in there, and you could go in there and maybe meet with some people, have a cup of coffee, and you could have internet service that would entice people to come in and say, wow, this is really nice to be here. We don't have to tear that building down because it's structurally sound. What you have to do is renovate it, bring it up to date, have some vision, and move forward, because that's what Medford needs. It needs to move forward.